What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Game Chamber, and today we finally have official details for PlayStation's response to Game Pass. So as it has been rumored for a couple of months now, maybe even a little bit longer than that, PlayStation is going to be merging their PlayStation Plus service with their PlayStation Now service and creating a new service which will just be called PlayStation Plus and have 3 different tiers to it. To be honest with you, I've never really been a user of PlayStation Now because until Game Pass came out, I never really saw much of the appeal of backwards compatibility, but I've certainly been spun to really understanding and liking that service a lot. And so the fact that they're merging them both, I think that makes a lot of sense. I never understood why they had them separate in the first place. So we're going to talk about all 3 tiers that they are talking about right now. This was announced about a half an hour ago. PlayStation put out like a little blog that I'll probably have some visual imagery up here for. But there's going to be 3 separate tiers for this PlayStation Plus service going forward, which will be starting, I believe they said, in June. Yes, in the June timeframe, we will begin with an initial launch in several markets in Asia, followed by North America, Europe, and the rest of the world where PlayStation Plus is offered. So presumably throughout the entire summer. June will probably start off in Japan and all that. By July, we'll have it. And then by August, everybody else should have it, I would assume. But maybe even quicker than that. So the 3 tiers that we have that are going to be offered, first is PlayStation Plus Essential, which is basically just regular PlayStation Plus. This is the service that we have all had and used for those of us that are users since the beginning of this launch. PlayStation Plus Essential benefits provides the same benefits that PlayStation Plus members are getting today, such as 2 monthly downloadable games, exclusive discounts, cloud storage for saved games, online multiplayer access. There are no changes for existing PlayStation Plus members in this tier. So if you're already a member, essentially you'll just get carried over to that PlayStation Plus Essential, and it will continue to be $9.99 monthly in the US, $24.99 quarterly, or $60 a year. Then you have the second tier, and this one is the one that is basically matched up with Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, to an extent. So the benefits offered in PlayStation Plus Extra is they provide all the benefits from the Essential tier, and it adds a catalog of up to 400 of the most enjoyable PS4 and PS5 games, including blockbuster hits from our PlayStation Studios catalog and third-party partners. Games in the Extra tier are downloadable for play. This will be $14.99 a month in the US, $39.99 quarterly, or $100 a year. So that price-wise matches up with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. The only difference being Xbox Game Pass advertises as having 100+ games available at a time, where they're saying right off the rip they're going to have 400. So I don't know if it means exactly 400, almost 400, over 400. I don't know what those 400 are going to be. They have announced that at the launch they're not going to be doing day and date releases. So you're not going to get like God of War Ragnarok or anything on day 1 on this. But they are going to have all of the large first-party games that have already been out, like Death Stranding, the 2 Spider-Man games, probably the first God of War. Things that are already part of the PlayStation Plus collection that they released when the PlayStation 5 launched. I would assume those types of games. So that is the tier that is pretty much your Game Pass Direct competitor. But they have one more tier that they're certainly trying to do some different things with. That is going to be the PlayStation Plus Premium tier. And the benefits for that include all of the benefits from the Essential and the Extra tiers, adds up to 340 additional games, including PS3 games available via cloud streaming, and a catalog of beloved classic games available in both streaming and download from the original PlayStation, PlayStation 2, and PSP generations. Offers cloud streaming access for original PlayStation, PS2, PSP, and PS4 games offered in the Extra and Premium tiers in markets where PlayStation Now is currently available. Customers can stream games using PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 consoles, as well as PC. And time-limited game trials will also be offered in this tier, so customers can try select games before they buy. Now, what I interpret that last one to be is their alternative to doing day and date releases, where Xbox Game Pass gives you things like Halo Infinite and Forza Horizon and any other gigantic first day release, first party title, where they just give it to you on Game Pass. PlayStation is going to give you time-limited game trials. They're not saying it specifically for those games, but that's what I'm assuming because that's the only thing that makes sense to me. Some people might not like that. Some people might look at that as, well, I'm getting more of a value on Game Pass then because I'm getting all the new releases off of that middle tier compared to, or for price compared for the PlayStation. So why would I pay $17.99 a month, or $49.99 quarterly, or $120 a year for this PlayStation Plus Premium when I'm only getting time-limited game trials instead of day-and-date release? And that may be a fair argument. My argument, however, would be that I've always thought that there's no way that PlayStation's going to do the day-and-date thing because they... Look, this is not a dick-swinging contest. This is not a pissing contest. It certainly is all about preference. But PlayStation's first-party titles tend to be better received. They tend to be a little bit more blockbuster. They tend to be games where you can really, really see a lot of money getting pumped into them, to where Xbox certainly has some first-party exclusive, and they're certainly going to have a lot more now that they've acquired so many studios, but it's just a fact. PlayStation first-party titles tend to be a little bit more console selling as far as Ratchet and Clank and Uncharted and God of War and everything like that than Forza Horizon and things like that ever been. So it actually makes sense to me, this business decision on their end, to where instead of just giving you the entire game, they're saying, hey, you can play it for a limited time. You have the whole game available to you for like, what, an hour, 45 minutes, 2 hours, I don't know what it's going to be. And you can play it and see whether or not you want to buy it or not. And I actually really value that because I always end up buying the games anyway. And so for me, if there's a new game like Death Stranding would have been a perfect example for that, where everybody's like, that looks kind of weird. I don't know exactly if I want to play this or not. You could do a time-limited game trial on a game like that, play it for an hour, get an idea, and for the most part, you can tell within 45 minutes whether or not you're going to be into a game or not. There's, exceptions. Some games have slower opening chapters, and like Halo Infinite, where you finally get out into the open world, or even Horizon Forbidden West here recently, where I thought the first hour or so was a little slow, and then as soon as you open up the story and go into the Forbidden West, the game really takes off. So I think that that's going to be valuable. I think it's going to be valuable to be able to have a time-limited trial of the game to where I can play it, give 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, whatever they give you, and say, oh man, this game's fucking awesome, my trial's over, now I gotta go buy it. And I would also assume, if they're smart, that if they do that, that there will be a discount. If you play the limited trial because you're a PlayStation Plus Premium member, then there's probably a discount to buy the rest of the game. That hasn't been confirmed yet, but I think that would be smart to do. But I could see a lot of people getting value off of that. Try a game and then eventually go and buy it, or you try it, realize it's not for you, and you just saved yourself $70. So I'm really excited about that feature, but I also love the fact that they are adding, when you have, they said 400 PS4 and PS5 games, and then if you add the premium, they're gonna have 340 additional games. So that's almost 1,000 games. That's almost 750 games. That's getting up there to 1,000 games from the PS5, PS4 era all the way back to the original PlayStation, and they're even including PSP, so that's pretty awesome. I mean, I would love to be able to turn on my PS5, log into PlayStation Plus, and play the original Metal Gear Solid whenever I feel like it. I mean, that's really awesome to me. I am curious why the PlayStation 3 generation of games are only available via cloud streaming. That is funny to me. You can download PS4 and PS5 games, you can download PS1, PS2, and PSP, but PS3 only says via cloud streaming, so I'm very curious why that is. And I am curious to see how well the streaming service is. I did not use PlayStation Now. I think PlayStation Now is mostly streaming, but I could be wrong about that. The Xbox version has worked well, but it certainly does not work anywhere near as well as downloading the games. You'll have some visual hiccups here and there, but it still works very solid. So definitely want to see how the service works in action, and they might have a little hiccup at first when they first started. Who knows? I don't know how long they've been working on this program and everything, but for me, for a PlayStation fan, for somebody who has loved the value that I've gotten out of Game Pass, something that I was extremely skeptical about before I actually got an Xbox and tried it out. I like this. I think it's different enough to where it doesn't just feel like they're copying Game Pass and just slapping the PlayStation name on it. They're trying to offer some additional value there with that extra tier. I'll certainly do the premium. You know, I'll be the guy that pays $120 a year to be able to play PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 games and having all of the limited time trials and everything like that. So for me, for a PlayStation fan, this actually sounds pretty damn good to me. And of course, I'm sure the service will evolve. You know, whenever they roll it out, if there's issues with it to where people don't really seem to be getting value out of one part of it, or they don't like the time trials or whatever, you know, this thing could evolve. It's just the whole game streaming side of this industry that Game Pass has really kind of propelled forward is still very new. So I've already said pretty much in stone, I don't believe Game Pass is going to keep the day and date for every AAA first-party release forever. I think they're doing that right now because they want everybody to become Game Pass subscribers, realize the value of it, and then once they have you and realize you're never going to, for the most part, delete that service, then they'll start tapering back and making you, you know, Halo Infinite 2 you'll have to go out and buy. But time will tell, but as a Game Pass competitor, I think this is a good idea. I think this is a good approach to have, and I look forward to checking out the service whenever it rolls out in June or July. So what do you guys think of this new PlayStation Plus model? Are you already a PlayStation Plus or a PlayStation Now subscriber? Does this seem like a good move to you, or do you prefer the way that it is now? If you're somebody who is an Xbox, primarily Xbox player, and maybe you dabble in PlayStation, is this something that interests you, or does this seem like something that just pales in comparison to Game Pass? Try to have arguments down below that are not just fanboy bullshit. Like, have legitimate points down below. Let's talk about it down below, guys. So thank you for watching. Please like and share this video. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything on the Game Chamber. I just released my Elden Ring review last week. I know it's a little bit behind, but I wanted to get plenty of hours in on that game before I gave my opinion. So I reviewed that, reviewed Horizon Forbidden West before that. I do live streams for a lot of the newer games that I'm playing. Now that I've gotten through Elden Ring, I'll be able to do a lot more different things on this channel. I have a lot more time to do top 10s and rankings, and maybe even stream some older games, get back onto my Twitch channel a little bit more often. So definitely subscribe so you don't miss any of that, guys. Thank you for watching as always. And remember, the Game Chamber is Commander Shepard's favorite channel on the YouTubes.